Before we begin, make sure you subscribe right now, hit the like button, and share your thoughts in the comments. This story is moving fast, and your voice matters. Stop everything. This is not a rumor. This is not political gossip. This is a direct message from Europe to Washington. Spain has said no, clear, firm, public. Spain has refused to allow the United States to use its military bases on Spanish soil to support strikes on Iran. This is a major moment. President Donald Trump is in the White House. Tensions with Iran are high. The world has been watching to see what America would do next. And now, one of America's key NATO allies has drawn a line. Spain hosts important U.S. military bases. These bases are not small. They are key for air and naval operations. They give the United States reach across Europe, Africa, and the Middle East. If America wanted to move quickly in that region, Spain would normally be a strong launch point. But now, Spain is saying it will not be part of any attack on Iran. That changes the map. That changes the plan. That changes the message to the world. This is not just about military hardware. This is about power, loyalty, and global politics. When a close ally says no during a tense moment, people take notice. And tonight, the question is simple. What does this mean for President Trump? And what does this mean for the future of U.S. action in the Middle East? To understand how serious this is, we need to look at the bases involved. One of the most important is Naval Station Rota. This base allows the U.S. Navy to move ships in and out of the Mediterranean quickly. It is a key location for missile defense and rapid response. There is also Modern Air Base, used by U.S. forces for fast air deployment. These are not symbolic bases. They are strategic tools. If the United States were planning strikes on Iran, having access to these bases would make operations smoother and faster. The planes could refuel. Troops could move. Equipment could be staged. Now, Spain says those bases cannot be used for that purpose. That forces the Pentagon to rethink logistics. It may need to rely more heavily on other allies. It may need to stretch supply lines. Every mile matters in military planning. Every hour matters. Spain's decision sends a message beyond geography. It tells Iran that not all of America's partners are willing to stand behind direct military action. It tells Europe that there's caution. It tells Washington that alliance support is not automatic. President Trump has been clear that he will act strongly if American interests are threatened. But strong action often depends on strong alliances. And tonight, that alliance shows signs of strain. Why would Spain make this move now? Spain is a NATO member. It works closely with the United States. It benefits from security ties. But Spain also has its own political reality. The Spanish government faces public pressure. Many people in Spain are deeply wary of being pulled into a new war in the Middle East. Spain remembers the Iraq War. It remembers protests in the streets. It remembers the political cost of backing U.S. military action that many citizens did not support. Leaders in Madrid know this history. They know their voters. And they know that allowing American strikes on Iran to launch from Spanish soil could make Spain a target or a participant in a conflict that does not want. So the refusal is not just about America. It is about domestic politics. It is about risk. It is about national interest. But in global politics, every domestic decision becomes international news. Iran will notice. Russia will notice. China will notice. When a European ally steps back from U.S. military plans, it becomes part of a larger story about global power shifts and the future of Western unity. And that story is still unfolding. Let's be clear about what is at stake. The United States and Iran have had years of tension. Sanctions, military posturing, proxy conflicts, sharp words from leaders. At times, it has felt like the world was just one spark away from open conflict. President Trump has taken a tough stance on Iran. He has pushed for maximum pressure. He has warned that attacks on American interests will not go unanswered. In that context, access to bases across Europe is not a small detail. It is part of the backbone of U.S. global power. Spain's refusal does not stop America from acting. The United States has other bases. It has carriers. It has regional partners. But losing an option limits flexibility. Military planners like options. They like redundancy. They like multiple paths. When one path closes, it narrows the field. And in moments of high tension, narrowing the field can raise the stakes. Because now, if action comes, it may rely more heavily on other countries. That means more pressure on those allies. More negotiations, more risk of further disagreements. There is another layer to this story. NATO is built on shared defense. It is built on the idea that members stand together. But NATO was designed mainly for defense, not for launching offensive strikes outside the alliance area. Spain can argue that refusing to support strikes on Iran is consistent with its interpretation of international law and alliance obligations. From Madrid's view, this is about staying within limits. From Washington's view, it may look like hesitation at a critical moment. This tension is not new. European countries have often been more cautious about military action in the Middle East. The United States, under President Trump, has shown a willingness to act decisively and quickly. That difference in approach can create friction. And friction inside alliances can send signals to rivals. Tonight, the world is watching to see whether this disagreement grows or fades. Will there be behind-the-scenes talks to smooth this over? Will Spain reconsider if tensions rise further? Or is this a firm line that will hold? One thing is certain. When a close ally says no during a moment of potential conflict, it is not just a footnote, it is a headline. Now the focus turns back to Washington. President Donald Trump is known for direct action. He is known for clear language. He does not like hesitation. He does not like weakness. And when an ally refuses cooperation during a tense moment, it becomes more than a policy issue. It becomes a test of leadership. Will the White House push back publicly? Will there be pressure behind closed doors? Or will the administration quietly adjust its strategy? Every move now carries weight. If the United States moves forward without Spain, it sends a message that America does not depend on any single partner. But if there's visible frustration, it could expose cracks inside the Western alliance. The Pentagon is likely reviewing every option. Aircraft carriers in the region, bases in other NATO countries, partnerships in the Middle East. Military strategy is like chess. When one square is blocked, the game shifts. But in politics, perception matters as much as action. And right now, the perception is that a key ally has stepped back at a critical time. Let's talk about Iran. Tehran is watching closely. Iranian leaders understand symbolism. When a European country refuses to support possible US strikes, it may be seen as a sign that America stands more alone than before. That perception can affect calculations. Iran may feel less isolated. It may believe there is room to divide Western powers. It may test boundaries further, thinking the alliance is not fully united. Or it may stay cautious, knowing that even without Spain, the United States has enormous military strength. But uncertainty is powerful. In global politics, mixed signals can create risk. When allies do not speak with one voice, rivals look for openings. This is not just about bases and aircraft. It is about deterrence. It is about whether Iran believes the United States and its partners are aligned. And tonight, alignment looks more complicated than it did yesterday. Inside Europe, this decision could spark debate. Some European leaders may quietly agree with Spain. Many countries in Europe have deep concerns about another Middle East conflict. Energy prices are already fragile. Economies are still recovering from global shocks. War brings uncertainty, and uncertainty brings cost. Others may worry that Spain's refusal weakens NATO's image. Unity is strength. Division invites pressure. There may be emergency calls, diplomatic talks, efforts to calm tensions before they grow. All of this happens behind closed doors, but the effects are public. When alliances show disagreement, markets react, investors react, citizens react. And for President Trump, this becomes part of a bigger question: how to keep allies aligned while maintaining a tough stance abroad. That balance is never simple. There is also the legal question. Under Spanish law, the use of foreign bases on its soil often requires clear agreement about purpose. Spain can say it is following its rules. It can say it supports defense, but not offensive strikes that could escalate into a full war. From a legal view, that argument carries weight. From a strategic view, it creates limits. The United States has long relied on a network of global bases to project power quickly. These arrangements are built on trust. They are built on shared goals. When trust is tested, even slightly, it forces leaders to reassess. And that reassessment is happening now. Military commanders are calculating distances. Diplomats are calculating reactions. Political leaders are calculating consequences. This is what high-stakes geopolitics looks like in real time. So where does this leave us tonight? Spain has made its position clear. No use of its bases for strikes on Iran. President Donald Trump remains firm in his broader stance toward Tehran. Tensions in the region remain high. The story is not over. This could become a brief disagreement that fades after quiet talks, or it could signal a deeper shift in how European allies respond to American military plans. The world is at a sensitive moment. One decision in Madrid echoes in Washington. It echoes in Tehran. It echoes across NATO headquarters. When allies draw lines, even careful lines, history sometimes follows. And right now, history feels close. Stay alert. Stay informed. Because this is not just another headline. This is a turning point that could shape the next chapter in global power. And the next move could come at any time.